everyone, Alex here. Before anything else, please hit the like button below and subscribe to my channel so that you will be notified if I have new videos like this one. Anyway, let me give you a quick update of what's been happening not only here in Cagayan de Oro but the rest of the world as well. So it was in January 2020 when you first heard of the news of what's been happening in China. There was an outbreak of a virus that we now know as COVID-19. So this virus attacks your respiratory system and produces symptoms like dry cough, difficulty in breathing, and fever. So since the virus was so new, most of the hospitals did not know how to treat it and were in fact overwhelmed by such a large influx of patients coming in who all had to be isolated to avoid further spreading the virus. So isolation was key in containing the virus because it could be spread through droplet nuclei. Because of the virus, this led to the shutdown of the world's second largest economy, China. And the bad news is the virus has now spread to the rest of the world, including our country, the Philippines. So to contain the spread of this virus, cities are already on enhanced community quarantine, businesses are closed down, people are at home, and many are unable to generate any income. Now, what does this mean for our economy? According to Central Bank Governor Benjamin Diokno, the Philippines may be heading into a recession this year as the pandemic has brought everything to a standstill. The global economy has now actually entered into a recession, and according to Ray Dalio, who is the founder of Bridgewater Associates, it's the largest hedge fund investment firm in the world, what is happening now is resembling what has happened before in the Great Depression in the 1930s. So we may be heading into a depression. Because many businesses have closed down and people are at home, this has led to a significant drop in consumer spending. People now prefer to hold on to their cash and do not want to spend because they wish to see what will happen next. Because of course, in a recession, cash is king. Also, because China had to go on lockdown, this hampered many businesses in the Philippines whose products are from China. All this fear and uncertainty has also caused our stock market to go down, and now there isn't much money going around to fuel our economy. This event is known as a Black Swan event, which is basically an event that people don't foresee happening. Just like the COVID pandemic, which has taken everybody by surprise. This term was coined from the belief that black swans did not exist, which eventually became reinterpreted as black swans were found to actually exist in the wild, although they were not as common as white swans. Now, amidst all the uncertainty and news of doom and gloom going around, how can we turn this to our advantage? How can we sidestep and even win in a recession? So the key to winning in a recession is to prepare for it long beforehand, long before it happens. Because if you prepare when it's already upon you, then that's already too late. So there are some things that you can do to recession-proof your finances. First is to understand what is happening, what is going on. Fear is often caused by not understanding what's happening. It's caused by the lack of knowledge. So what should you do? You should understand what is going on. We need to understand that this is not the first time that something happened that led to a recession. There was Pearl Harbor in the 1940, the invasion of South Korea by North Korea in the 1950, the Arab-Israeli War in the 1970, the Gulf War in the 1980, and the 9/11 attack in the 1990. Based on history, something happens every 10 years or so that leads to a recession. The recession then lasts anywhere between 6 months to 3.5 years, after which the market starts to correct itself and everything goes back up again. Understanding is the key to battling fear because we fear the things that we don't know or understand. Once you understand what's happening right now, then you can prepare better and be more able to sidestep this crisis. Second, diversify your investments. My husband and I are big believers in diversification as an investment strategy. This is a technique that allows you to minimize your risk by spreading your investments across different investment vehicles or industries. We have investments in the stock market, in mutual funds, insurance companies, in real estate, and also in traditional businesses. So sadly, because of the quarantine, we had to close down our traditional businesses, which is a gaming cafe and a coffee shop. So we are not getting any income from those businesses. But thankfully, we also have another business, which is a brokerage firm, which I manage with my partners. And we are still generating income from that avenue. So at least we can still survive because of the brokerage. So that's the value of having different income streams, because if one or two income streams gets cut off, then you will still have other income streams to rely on. This is actually biblical advice. Ecclesiastes 11:2 says that invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8, for you do not know what disaster may come upon the land. And we have really taken this advice to heart, and we are now currently in the process of building different income streams. So our target is to have at least 8 income streams of income. If you really look at the Bible, especially in Proverbs, there are so many advices about money, and you can really learn a lot from the Word of God. Third, prepare an emergency fund. A few years ago, I read a book by a Filipino author, Randall Kyung-son, entitled No Nonsense Personal Finance. So in that book, there were 7 steps to financial freedom. The first step was to get out of debt. So I'm talking about bad debt here. And the second step was to prepare an emergency fund. So at that time, I was already investing in the stock market, and I had already set up my first company, Truly Wealthy Realty Corp, which is a brokerage firm, together with my partners. But I thought that even though I thought that I was doing okay, there was still something missing in my preparation for financial freedom. I did not have an emergency fund yet. So the purpose of an emergency fund is, it is a fund that you can use in case there is something like a black swan event, something that you don't foresee happening. In cases of emergency, there is a fund that you can pull money out from. So COVID-19, the quarantine, is certainly considered as an emergency because it's something that we all did not expect to happen. So how do you compute your emergency fund? It is computed by taking your monthly expenses and multiplying it by 6. For example, your monthly expense is 20,000 a month. Multiply that by 6, then that will amount to 120,000 a month. So you should have at least 120,000 in a separate bank account, which is only for your emergency fund, so that in cases of emergency, then you will have money to withdraw. If for example, you lose your job, or suddenly your businesses have to shut down, you suddenly are found with no income, then you have your emergency fund to tide you over until you are able to generate income again. Fourth, prepare an investment fund. In a recession, cash is king. And what usually happens in a recession is that everything goes down. The stock market goes down, real estate prices fall, many businesses go bankrupt or go out of business. So if you have the cash, you will be able to invest in these different investment vehicles at a very low price. So you will be able to think of it as also being able to help people out, because when a recession happens, people lose their jobs, they will need to sell their property fast to avoid getting foreclosed on by the bank. So if you have the cash, you will be able to buy the property at a very affordable price. At the same time, the seller, who is in a hurry, will be able to liquidate on his investment and get some money back. Compared to if he was foreclosed by the bank, then he would get nothing. So it's a win-win situation. You will be able to buy a property at a good price, and the seller will be able to liquidate on his investment. So since everything is on sale, think of it as being on sale, which only happens every 10 years or so, it would be best to have an investment fund that you will only take out when there is a really good investment opportunity. And when a recession hits, as it is going to hit this year, then keep your eyes peeled out for good investments, as they are very, very likely to pop up this year. Remember, in real estate, money is made when you buy, not when you sell. So I hope you learned something new today, and if you did, then please hit the like button below and subscribe to my channel, Real Estate Broker Alex, for more tips and real estate updates just like this one. Till next time!